Universal Epic Universe is a new theme park opening in 2025. Guests can now visit the Epic Universe Preview Center, located in City Walk. It features a model of Epic Universe and has augmented reality to see extra stuff through an app on your phone. Plus, merchandise for each of the worlds can be purchased here. Today, we will cover the latest construction updates. More boats have arrived for the boat ride in How to Train Your Dragon. Testing has begun on the water features in Celestial Park, and the arches have been installed at the Kronos. We will cover all that and more. We will start with How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. On our last update, we counted 9 boats in the water over at Fire Drill. 4 were in the loading station and another 5 were in the service canal. However, now there are no boats in the water. They are all out and behind the ride, with more boats having arrived. 15 total boats can be seen in the service area. Some boats are still being assembled. These 2 boats have their masts laying down, getting ready for it to be installed. The back of the boat has a chest that can be opened. I wonder what will be put inside of it. This boat is wheelchair accessible. See the extra space in back and how it has a divider that separates the bench seats from that space. It also has 1 less water cannon than the other boats. The other boats have 8 water cannons total, 4 on each side. Over at the Dragon Racers Rally Ride, the scaffolding has come down around the grandstands, with only a small section remaining. We can see all the beautiful details on the dragon houses. The steel poles around the grandstands have been painted to look like wood. Also, on the very top, a throne has been added in the middle. A line of trees have also been added over around the edge of the ride. At the entrance to the ride will be a fenced-off area for the sheep. Right now the sheep are covered in plastic with an extra plastic enclosure. Something new has been installed over the first launch of Hiccup's Wing Gliders. On the sides of the track, 2 boulders can be seen strapped down. It seems that the story will be that these 2 large boulders will drop to propel the roller coaster train forward. The story behind the roller coaster is that Hiccup has invented a new contraption, a winged flying machine that launches aspiring dragon riders into the air. Trees and steel frames have been added to the queue of Hiccup's Wing Gliders. Here's a good look at the car train for Hiccup's Wing Gliders. It's currently on the service track. Each car will seat 4, and this car train looks like it will seat 20 passengers total. In front of Mead Hall, the main dining location in the Isle of Berk, work has started on the concrete that will go around the entrance. On both sides will be a place for landscaping, and eventually there will be steps in front of the door for the restaurant. The footers seen here next to the new cement wall and on the other side are most likely for the light poles. Lanterns and lights can be seen in the background of the concept art. At the portal, work has begun on the concrete in front of the entrance of the How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. Outside the theater attraction, work continues on the gift shop and also the Haddock Paddock, where guests will meet Hiccup and Toothless. Over here is the Viking training camp. This will be a play area for kids. More frames have been added. An arch structure is a recent addition. This will have a cloth-like covering over it according to the concept art. This play area will teach kids about dragons. Perhaps this is where that will be. In the flyover, we get a side glance of what's under this arch frame. It looks like there are some kind of kiosks. Over here, more wood posts have been added. A whole new section has begun and has a 2nd level now. Now let's go over to Super Nintendo World, where the character face has been installed and painted at the waterfall of Donkey Kong Minecart Madness. On our last update, it was on the ground behind the building. It's now covered in scaffolding. The walls are now full of colorful panels over at the entrance to one of the challenges, with the most recent color being added on the bottom. Here is where the leaderboards will be for players to check their score. It's no longer gray and has also been painted. Bowser's Fortress has recently had claws added to it. This is the entrance to the Mario Kart ride. At the Goomba Crazy Crank Key Challenge, the cylinder has now been installed and the walls are now colorful as well. Above are 2 piranha plants wrapped in plastic. Next to it is the Koopa Troopa Power Punch. The wall has now been closed up. Before, the wall was open and we could see some of the mechanics inside. 2 trees are lying down on top of Minecart Madness. 2 holes can be seen not far from the trees. This is probably where they will be placed, as seen in the concept art. Wood planks have been added at different angles on the side of the track. More wood planks can be seen on the ground getting ready to be installed. A wall is being created over here to hide Epic Universe from Super Nintendo World. They're working on theming the pavement. Half of it looks like it might be done. The rest will get another coat of paint to better show the cracks in the pavement. A structure has been added next to a food stand. This is where the meet and greet will be. Frames have been added around this building to create the plane for the retail location. Here is the entrance to Donkey Kong Country. They've added concrete and some of it has already been themed. Steel is being added to create a wall for the backdrop of Yoshi's Adventure Ride. Princess Peach's castle doesn't look too different than the last time, but it does look like they are preparing the roof for the top of the castle. A few theming elements have been added on this wall. Over at the Dark Universe, they've added a bunch of little plants behind the barbecue restaurant in Celestial Park. Next to the main attraction is a little food stand believed to be called the Lacey's. The building's been themed and looks just about finished. Probably all that's left is some paint. At the World's Roller Coaster ride, we can see the steel for the queue. It's now brown and been painted to resemble wood. The steel over the tracks have also been painted brown. At the main attraction, some words can be seen at the entrance gate. It might say Frankenstein, because that's what is written on the model in the preview center. On our last update, they had added the portcullis, but it has changed since the last time we saw it. The ends were sharp, and now the ends are blunt. Looks like they were chopped off. At the entrance to the portal, work on the concrete circle continues. Several concrete forms are in place to prepare for more concrete to be poured. If we look past the car train, we can see the Burning Blade Tavern. Theming on this restaurant is looking really good. Aged wood beams are in between the stone wall. On the corner, the wood beam looks like it's falling apart to add to the theming. Several trees have been staged behind the roller coaster, waiting to be placed somewhere in the park. In the village believed to be called Darkmoor, this is the building for the restaurant. The newest addition is this railing for a balcony. There's a worker on a ladder working on it. More workers are seen over here installing a bell in the tower. The other side of the village is the retail shop. Another balcony is seen over here and it has broken wood to add to the theming. A bunch of cement pieces of varying shapes and sizes can be seen behind the wall to the village. Now let's go to the Wizarding World, the Ministry of Magic. The ground is being prepared for some trees in the courtyard. They are continuing to work on the extended queue for the Ministry of Magic. More roof frames have been added since our last update. Blue poles have been added to the front of the show entrance. In this concept art, we can see what the poles will be holding up. On our last update, they had built a wall in between the portal and the arch. Now we can't even see the wall from this angle. Trees have been placed to obscure the view of the Port Saint-Denis arch. This is to create a more dramatic reveal so guests won't see it as soon as they exit the portal. Now let's look at Celestial Park, the main hub for Epic Universe. All the water features have been filled with water as they start to test them. We can see the ripples in the water as it cascades down into the show fountain. A recent addition is the pattern on the bridge that goes over the fountain. It looks like a compass rose, like the design in the show fountain, and the bridge behind it now has been covered over. Before, we could still see the metal beams underneath. A few more trees have been added to the front of the barbecue restaurant. On one of the attractions called Constellation Carousel, they've started adding the roof panels. More blue panels can be seen staged on the ground, and one is in the air about to be installed. Some decorative railing has been added around the carousel. The Kronos now has the side arches attached. Starburst can be seen at the top of each arch. The Kronos Tower has some of the medallions installed. Seen here is the medallion for How to Train Your Dragon and Super Nintendo World. In front of the Luna Overlook, prep work is started for a concrete pour. Now over at the restaurant by the show fountain, the frames have been covered over completely around the octagonal shape on top. On the same restaurant, windows have been added on the sides of the building. On our last update, we saw stairs on the ground at the entrance to the park. Now they have been installed and lead up to what is believed to be the VIP room. At Stardust Racers, they've begun to test some effects. We can see fog coming out of the first launch tunnel. Here is how the extended queue is coming along. Scaffolding is now covering the Comet at the front of the ride as work continues to theme it. At the two restaurants, framework is going up around it. At the Atlantic restaurant, trees have been added around the water feature. Now let's take a look at the Helios Grand Hotel. On the ground is a cap that will get placed on top of the dome of the roof. The cap has now been installed on top of the dome. Here's a look at the pool and the progress on the pool bar and building. The roof has a covering added to it and a round metal frame has been added to the center of it. The pool at the Terra Luna Resort now has some circles just like we saw at the Stella Nova Resort. Trees will be planted in the circles. Well, that's it for the construction updates at Universal Epic Universe. Thanks to BioReconstruct for all the great photos into Epic Universe. If you are planning a trip to Universal or Disney World, I can book your stay. I'm a vacation planner for Gold Gold Getaways, and it won't cost you anything to have me book your stay. There's a link in the description box below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.